Enjoy reading the story on Manga Funny channel.
In the previous episode, while Lillian and Lawrence were having breakfast, news arrived that their father had returned. Let's continue the story from here. I've separated the wings and tail, so call the technicians to disassemble the rest. Yes, Your Grace. It was real. Lawrence said, to have hunted a dragon in less than a day, as expected of father. Amazing. They say every part of a dragon-type monster, from the wings to the tendons, is worth a fortune. How much would all that be? Hey, you're drooling. I heard the heart contains some explosive power. If only Rothy could use that dragon's heart as a power source. That would be incredible. I want it. What's going on? What are you doing? No, the sunlight suddenly got in my eyes. Did I just make eye contact with him? Was that just my imagination? Later that afternoon, I thought Father and Edward would immediately rush off to the next battlefield, obsessed with fighting, yet suddenly there's a family meal. What could he be thinking? While the family was dining, my father announced, "The reason I called you here today is to assess the results of your training." This was truly unexpected. Of course, there is a tradition that candidates for the head of the family in the Sarganev family show the results of their training in front of the current head once a year. But that time isn't now. Father, we still have a month until then. Lawrence said, "Do you really think another month of training will turn a blockhead into a non-blockhead?" He's picking a fight again. Edward said, "Instead of going through the tedious procedures, we could just have the succession battle right now. It's not like a few more years will change the succession dynamics anyway." Suggesting we start the succession battle now is essentially the same as saying you'd kill Lawrence and me on the spot. Who else would be the firstborn of this psycho family? My father said, "Procedure is absolute, Edward. There will be no succession battle until Lillian and everyone else are adults." Edward said, "Yes, sorry for the unnecessary comment. Father's stubbornness is actually a relief today." Edward said, "I only mentioned it because it seems we have a few bugs in the family who are doing nothing but wasting food." This lunatic. He's talking about Lawrence and me, isn't he? I don't mind since I don't plan to fight directly. But Lawrence must be feeling the pressure. The thought of facing that monstrous brother in the future must feel like a nightmare as time goes on. Setting aside my resentment, he does seem a bit pitiful in moments like this. Now's not the time to worry about others. I should worry about myself. I asked Father, "What's the test going to be?" Let's just start with the immediate exam. The Sergeyev family is renowned for swordsmanship, but thankfully, the test doesn't have to involve swordsmanship. One can also pass by showcasing abilities in things like magic or magic engineering. Rothy still struggles with complex combat, so I hope it's a simple test. That test. My father said, "I'll announce the details of the test as it proceeds. Gather at the training grounds in an hour." This made everyone anxious about the training session. I knew there was something off when he suddenly called for a family meal. Can I manage to upgrade Rothy in time? Damn it, especially with Olga smashing my latest version to pieces. At least it's lucky I just thought of a new idea. I quickly finished my meal and rushed back to my room to repair Rothy before the upcoming training. Adding a new cog to joint number 17 here. The problem might be friction between the two materials, and the elasticity might exceed the limits of my initial calculations. Another variable is, at this moment, Eden came in to help me fix Rothy. "Oh, Eden? Sorry, I'm kinda busy right now." Busy or not, do you know how many times I called you? Wow. After cleaning up, you really do look like a main character. Wait, what did you just call me? I was so mesmerized by his hero-like appearance that I forgot Eden had been calling me multiple times. "Don't call me that, it feels weird," Eden asked. "That's not what matters right now. You're not thinking of me as just some doll you can keep around, are you?" What are you talking about? Eden said, You promised you'd let me out, but you've left me alone all day. So you called me that out of concern? I never imagined it while playing the game, but Eden, you have the personality of a cat with its fur all raised. The game developers really went overboard when I think about it. They gave a character like him a terrifying trait like psychopath. Not even as a personality trait, but as a curse that prevents him from feeling emotions from birth. Eden said, Are you lost in thought again? Seeing him so emotional, it seems the curse hasn't fully set in yet. I guess that's a relief. No, wait. Eden's curse isn't the urgent issue here. Calm down. Do you think it's easy to get you out of here? This place is so dangerous that even carriages rarely come through. If I told someone to come here, they'd charge 10 times the danger fee. But don't worry too much. I have a plan. What I'm doing right now is all for that, so just trust me and hang in there a little longer. Eden said, If it's that difficult, why go to such lengths for me? It's not free, you know? You have to pay me back when you grow up, all right? When I grow up, I can read fortunes, and you're destined for success. So repay me later, and make sure it's in cash. Now that I've appeased him, let's get back to upgrading. When I grow up, can I really grow up? At that moment, Eden didn't understand what I was saying. But soon, when he grows up, he'll understand. Eden thought, In the end, you're just like any other noble. Is it true? There's gonna be another match? The servants gathered, gossiping. Lillian, that girl's gonna attend too, right? She has to. If not, the head of the family will probably dispose of her immediately. I wonder if she'll fail miserably again. Last year, she couldn't even hunt a minor monster and ended up pulling out her hair and sobbing. That was hilarious. Who knows? She might actually die this time. In the previous episode, Lillian and Eden were trying to repair Rothy for the upcoming training. Let's continue the story from here. At the Sergeyev Central Training Grounds, Chief Butler Gerardo said, Everyone's gathered. Today, the test given by the Master. Is this a sword embedded in a rock? What's he planning to test with that sword? This sword is specialized for hunting monsters and was discovered on the dragon-slaying grounds. The Master specifically brought it here, rock and all, for today's test. So we just have to pull out the sword, any method allowed. Breaking the rock is forbidden. Please pull it out with pure strength. Heh, this is too easy. Easy? You think pulling that out with raw strength is easy? Go ahead and try. When did Father get here? Only if you can, that is. This test is absurd. I did prepare as best as I could with the time given, but this is just pure brute strength. Everything I prepared will be useless. Lawrence requested to go first. I'll go first, Father. Lawrence is brilliant, but isn't he just 13? Could he possibly do it? The sword shifted slightly. If he keeps this up, Lawrence might actually win this year. Did he do it? Looks like it's still too much for Lawrence. But in the end, Lawrence couldn't pull the sword out. Lawrence said, I can do it again. My father replied, No use wasting energy on a hopeless task. Enough. Next. Pathetic for just a rock. Edward's turn. This is my chance. Brother Edward, just a moment. If there's one thing I learned from my past life, here's a handkerchief. It's that connections matter more than talent. If your hand slips and you get hurt, it'd be terrible. Of course, something like that wouldn't happen to someone as strong as you. Always manage your connections. Edward looked at me with disdain, tossing the handkerchief I offered. I can't expect to succeed on the first try. Lawrence said, You've never called me brother like that before. Is he jealous? Probably not. When Gerardo called out, Edward stepped up to the sword. Could Edward do it? He's causing cracks with just one hand. Just a 1-year difference. Yet the strength between him and Lawrence is worlds apart. If this keeps up, Edward might actually... In the end, Edward successfully pulled the sword from the rock before the watching crowd. He proudly raised the sword high as the crowd cheered. Young Master Edward has done it. Both hands for something this trivial. Congratulations. Hand over the sword. Now that Edward pulled the sword, it's not my turn anymore, is it? Should I be relieved, or... He's putting it back in the rock? My father called out, Lillian, it's your turn. Under everyone's watchful gaze, I refused to pull the sword. But I can't even come close to Edward or Lawrence. I'll forfeit this year. My father said, I see, still as disappointing as ever. The test is over. Everyone left, leaving me standing here studying the sword. Even if I trained my strength, I wouldn't be able to pull that out. I'm hopeless when it comes to swordsmanship. How did they even pull it out and then put it back in? Are they monsters? Wait, why did I only think about pulling it with pure strength? The key is that it needs to be pulled out with power. Since it's come to this, should I just give it a try? After a moment of thought, I took out Rothy and placed it on the sword's handle. From the beginning, my strength wasn't physical, it was magic engineering. If the physical laws here are the same as on Earth, maybe I can use distance as my power source. Now, stretch Rothy. This might actually work. Just as I thought, without using force, Rothy managed to pull the sword out. I gave Rothy 2 commands. 1. Don't let go of the sword handle, even if it breaks down. I know this formula too well, just like back in school. And 2. Maintain the stretched length until I stop it. If this world follows Earth's physical laws, I might be able to pull out the sword using the increased distance as power. I'll use Rothy. Come to me, Rothy. As a giant lever to pull out the embedded sword. Just a bit? A bit more, Rothy. It's coming out. It actually worked? So the physical laws here are the same as Earth. Great job, Rothy. Now return to your original form. At that moment, Edward suddenly appeared, gripping the sword and moving it towards me, his gaze scrutinizing.